I just want to get something out of the way very quickly. If you do enjoy watching my videos and you want to see more, please do subscribe, because the more subscribers I have, the more likely a manufacturer is to give me a car, rather than some influencer twat that thinks 0 to 60 is how fast their subscriber count goes up every minute. Right, cars, or more specifically, electric cars. How much do you think the average EV costs in 2025? I'll give you a second, maybe 2. Don't Google it, I'm watching you. Well, according to the RAC, it's £46,000. Surprised? Or were you bang on? Let me know in the comments. Well, the base version of this car, the V1 Cupra Tavascan, is the perfect example of an average EV, starting at £47,350. There are 4 trim levels, and this version, the VZ1, is one down from the top and costs just over £11,000 more. That's almost a Dacia Spring, or several very nice holidays, or 1 month's heating in the UK. It's all-wheel drive and has the dual motors and boasts features like 21-inch alloys rather than 19s, fancier cloth for the seats, matrix headlights, a Sennheiser 12-speaker sound system, top view camera, augmented reality head-up display and a panoramic sunroof. All the stuff you really don't need but will absolutely miss once you've had it and then go, ugh, every time you get into a normal car. If this is your budget, or you're sensible and you wait a year for depreciation to do its thing, then stick around, because Cupra's second EV is interesting. Cupra says the Tavascan brings the disruptive and unique vision of an all-electric future to the market, which, does it though? I mean, it looks fine. It looks good even, but it's also very clearly another SUV coupe, which is basically the EV equivalent of grey kitchen tiles. Performance is solid, 0 to 62 in 5.5 seconds, which is quick, but not I've scared myself shitless quick. And charging from 10 to 80% takes just under 30 minutes. Again, fine. This car is aggressively fine. Okay, let's just cut the PR bullshit. Design-wise, the standout features for me are the copper highlights and the 3 triangle graphic in the lights and illuminated Cupra logo. Apparently one of the first of its kind in Europe. In fact, a lot of attention has been paid to the lighting, with a welcome lamp and LEDs integrated into the door handles, which actually is quite a nice and practical touch. Inside, it's more copper, more lighting, more drama. The centrepiece is a big spine running down the dashboard so that the 15-inch infotainment touchscreen looks like it's floating, which is kind of cool. I don't know. It looks a bit futuristic, or some weird snake coiling around the car. The bucket seats look properly sporty. I like those. But for nearly £60,000, I do find myself stroking some surfaces and going, you could have tried harder, Cupra. Thanks to a newly designed and developed human-machine interface, the infotainment is better than the Cupra Born, which is faint praise, but still praise. Everything is controlled through touch, which I hate with a passion, but at least the touch bar, aka illuminated retro slider, does climate, volume and voice control, which is the bare minimum, frankly. You can customise those though. It's usable, it's logical. When first switched on, the home layout has access to all of the core features in a single click at least. The upper zone of the display gives direct access to the main menus, streamlining use. There are 3 configurable widgets and customisable widgets focused on the driver, with a diagonal style and 2 sizes allowing information to be prioritised. To simplify things further, 2 banks of widgets allow direct access to the main functions of the car. You get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, plus the My Cupra app for remotely controlled charging, climate and navigation destinations, although it is worth noting that some owners report connectivity bugs, which in EV terms is basically a rite of passage. It uses the Volkswagen Group's MEB platform, and because this is the VZ version, it has a dual motor layout which is able to send up to 30% of the car's power to the front wheels when more traction is required. Torque is transferred via a single speed transmission with a differential to ensure a strong and smooth power delivery. The two motors communicate instantly, managing loads quickly. In fact, each is given new commands every millisecond via their respective power electronics, and the shift in torque between wheels is seamless. It has 250 kilowatts of power and 402 pound-foot of torque, meaning overtakes are easy and motorway merging is effortless. There are 5 drive modes: comfort, performance, Cupra, individual and traction and range. Even just the rear wheel version is brisk, taking just over a second more than this car to reach 62 miles an hour, so 6.5 seconds. Suspension wise, it utilises McPherson struts and an advanced multi-link rear, and it's been tuned so that it feels more engaging than other electric SUVs. And sure enough, it is composed, well balanced and properly planted. This version and the V2 models benefit from adaptive suspension as part of the dynamic chassis control system. It allows you to adjust the suspension to better suit the road conditions you're on. As a result, it doesn't thump as much over bumps and there's little body roll, particularly if you've got it on the firmer setting. But none of the settings give you a particularly plush ride. Saying that though, I've read on a lot of owner forums that without the DCC, the ride is really stiff, so worth noting. The steering is precise and intuitive, and you can adjust the weight of it in the drive mode. So in comfort, it's super light, making life around town easy, or in Cupra and performance modes, it's reassuringly heavier. But, and this is worth noting, this thing weighs nearly 2.3 tonnes, and while the battery is positioned centrally between the axles so that weight distribution is 49:51, no amount of clever tech disguises that when you chuck it into a corner with enthusiasm and optimism. You can adjust the Regen via the paddles on the steering wheel, and there are 3 levels, but there's a slight pause when you lift off the accelerator, which makes it much less predictable to judge. In addition, the transition between the Regen brakes and the physical brakes isn't always seamless, with it being inconsistent and jerky at low speeds, making you either look like a braking pro or it's like your first lesson. It's not that bad, but it's enough to be annoying. There's a solid suite of onboard driver advanced systems thrown in too, and it now uses cloud-based data to improve performance on poorly marked roads. Whatever version you go for, the Tavascan comes with a 77 kilowatt-hour battery pack, but in the rear-wheel drive version delivers up to 353 miles, while the all-wheel drive version delivers a range of up to 324 miles. As always, optimistic claims. Real world? Expect 230 to 260 in winter or motorway driving, maybe 300 on a warm day with tailwind and positive thoughts. And what of charging speeds, I hear you ask? Up to 135 kilowatt DC. Not exciting, not embarrassing, just fairly average nowadays. The Cupra Tavascan looks good, stands out, drives well. It's quick, engaging, spacious inside and well equipped. Even if Cupra charging extra for a heat pump is particularly tight-arsed. Downsides: firm suspension, fiddly haptic controls, slightly awkward braking feel and the odd tech gremlin that will annoy you just enough to mention it at dinner. If design and a sporty feel cream your Twinkie, this will absolutely do it for you. If comfort, polished software, longer range or faster charging matter more, then the Skoda Enyaq Coupe, Tesla Model Y, Kia EV6 or Audi Q4 e-tron probably make better sense and will cost you less money. As always, it depends what you care about and how tolerant you are of a car that's very cool but occasionally a bit up itself.